So in my mind, this is the saga of Pokemon, where it's
Yep.
just like it has vaguely familiar elements to Pokemon, where it's like you can tell it's clearly based off of it.
Yeah, they aped it 100,
Yeah,
100.
the
Right.
battle screen is right there. But it's like, oh, we flipped the
Yeah.
HP meters, so
Let's
it's
not get
different.
sued.
So we'll get into the battle mechanics a little later, but I want to immediately address how this is like someone saw Pokemon and they're like, you know what? I saw Pokemon once in my life. I had dreams about it that were nothing like the actual game, and now I made something like it. And it's like this is someone's entire head fan fiction of like all these weird little friends and creatures, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on in here, but I'm not sure how I feel about the general gameplay loop. I like the characterization. I like the vibes of like the NPCs. It's really funny when you're talking to them. Just like what those kinds of one-off lines where they like philosophize at you or something. I think it's funny coming from some little blob.
Yeah, he's also
Um,
like, "Hey, shut up!" Like the kid kind of is spunky. He's
yeah,
just
it's
like
very in your face, and it happens like boom, boom, boom. The first thing your monster given to you says is,
fungus.
"Hello, my name is Fungus. Here's my phone number." And it's like, this is this is how we introduce. Okay, so you're Fungus, you're a dinosaur, and now I can call you up. Okay, what the fuck is going on?
It was
So
wild.
yeah.
I really do like that. This whole game is just you call up your boys to jump someone simulator,
Yeah, the whole
Right.
thing is just how
Gang
deep does
fight.
your posse roll?
right?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm a little opposite with ATI. I kind of enjoyed the gameplay loop because it reminded me of the first Saga game in a way. Like
Hmm.
you're not going up a tower, but like the way the connected trees kind of send you to the next area, and you kind of that's
Yeah,
like
immediately it was like this is Saga 2, I think it was, where you like go through the warps in
that
like the
too.
sky
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like you're going to the different areas. It's the same kind of not only is it Saga and just like the feeling of weirdness and like you have all these moves but you don't have PP and then there's a six type RPS system for advantages and disadvantages with grassland, mountain, sky, forest, aquatic, desert. Nothing makes sense. Moves or like I don't think moves have properties. It all depends on your Telefang, on
You
your
are
little
correct.
Denjū.
Telefang 2 actually gave properties to moves again.
Mm.
One is just completely based on what your Denju's type is.
Yeah, and it was just one of those saga type things where like the first time I get to a dialogue box where it's describing to me like, oh well, mountain beats sky, but it's also weak to this, but it's strong to that, and then it's going through all this shit. I'm like, I can't retain any of it. This is nonsense.
Not many people
It's like
did.
learning another language.
From what I read, not many people did retain the kind of rock paper scissors thing because it was like it's similar enough where you could feel it out in a battle or two, but it's just like obtuse enough where it's just like never at the top of your head. At least that was for me. So it was an
One of those things where
interesting.
it feels like it probably makes a ton of sense to whoever made this, but like just like the rest of the game, it just feels like such a personal weirdness. I like I couldn't decipher what it was going to do next for a lot of the time.
Well, that personal weirdness actually plays into like how I felt the designs were. I was laughing at a lot of these designs.
Mhm.
Half of them are melting blob monster things.
Yeah,
The other,
I wanted to link one specifically because it looks like he morphs into a Holden Bloodfeast.
I know which one
How's
you're
my
talking.
boy Goomy
Yeah,
Let's go?
Yeah, it's like he
yeah.
Yeah,
starts out
I
as an
like
innocent little
him.
guy, and then he gets exposed to all of the war crimes, and there's his final form.
I
I mean, to be fair, they're
genuinely.
merging like rocket launchers and Gatling guns and
Oh
magnums
my
and
god.
revolvers, these things. So I guess
And
it
they're
checks out.
all the monsters are like giving you these cryptic hints when they call you, like, "Hey, I heard that Kanplukumon likes bazookas, but don't
Yeah.
give him a drill. But if you combine the drill with a hammer, like, what is going on?"
Yeah, the
Sometimes
That
they'll give
was
you
a little
story hints.
difficult to understand.
Yeah, I think if you were like a child playing this, you
It
would
would
like
capture your
absorb
imagination
it.
and shape you. Yeah.
This is how adults felt when Pokemon first came out. Like now
that's
I know
my
how they
exact feeling.
feel.
This whole game was like, if I played this instead of Pokemon, I'd be a much different and more annoying person.
Everything about it has such like bootleg vibes, but it also feels competent.
It's
Like
very.
I was very surprised at how fluid the tag system and everything worked. Each of the each of the Mons has a unique ringtone, I think, when they call you, which is a surprising amount of effort. Unless they share ringtones, I don't know.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, there was a lot of ringtones to
You can
choose
also create
from.
your ringtones.
yeah.
Yeah,
What was it
so
called again?
leaning into the tech at the
Melody.
time is really interesting, but it outdates itself instantly. Like smartphones came out like a year after this or something, or a
Nah,
few
this was
years.
like
No, a few years. This is
It's
2001.
2000.
This is 2000.
yeah, so about
Oh,
7
okay. So they're
years.
like six or so years away from smartphones. Okay.
Yeah, I think the first iPhone dropped in 07. But then you would have personal Windows PC phones that my nerd ass brother had that would like fucking eat up the battery in an hour. But like we were on the cusp, but not quite there yet. So I'm sure it felt super novel and like ahead of the curve. But yeah, it definitely didn't stand the test of time in general, I feel like.
Yeah, like it for the time, it's like so many of these characters or monsters even just have so much character. Like this picture Firefly posted, like, why is this worm creature being polite with me and it apologizes? That paints a picture in my head of like what this thing is like and like how it's probably like "Gomenasai" and it's bowing down to you and like whatever.
And
I
it's like
love
slime
It's nice
coming out of
little
its mouth and shit.
I love when
yeah.
they would be
Right.
late. They'd be like, "Yo, I'm not gonna get there. Well, I got distracted. My
I
bad."
got distracted. I love how they all have personalities and like all of them but two are bad.
I didn't
yeah.
learn until the last dungeon, but yeah, their personality types determine whether or not they're gonna act a certain way in battle. And it's really easy to get ones that don't like to listen to you, like they're stubborn or whatever.
The
I
badge
never
thing.
got I never got any of the mons that ran
Thanks.
away from battle.
I
Thanks.
did. I was like, "This
Oh fuck.
motherfucker ran on my boss fight." He was like, "See ya."
See you,
Fuck.
shitlord. I'm out.
Yeah,
But
it's like no established rules of Pokemon kind of apply here. Like you're stacking up all this money, but it's only for items that like either experience boost you or evolve you, and then like you don't have PP and like the
I
types.
have
It's just very bizarre. And it couldn't. I
oh,
had to wiki
that
dive for a lot of this.
I have
door.
so much beef with the fucking shop system, but I'll save it for later.
I didn't
The
go in that door. I meant to
Link's
go back
Awakening.
there.
Oh yeah, I didn't go back to that door.
Yeah, there is some post game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did read that there is a post game fangs that you can unlock.
Yep.
Like basically the muse of this game, these bizarre things. Let me see if I have it on here actually.
I will
Yeah,
give this game an honor of I cannot find anyone actually participating in PvP in this game online
Oh
anywhere.
my
Not
god.
even Japanese. No
Oh
one
wait,
plays this game
you
at
can
all.
PvP this?
You can, but I don't know why you'd want to, but you can.
Yeah, the type
I mean, it is a shit
weakness
show.
chart, it doesn't really seem like it would be that deep or anything. That's the post game guy, I think, or one of the guys.
One of them, yeah. Which honestly looks like a 4th gen Pokemon, to be completely honest. Like,
It looks like Dedenne or
right.
whatever.
Right?
Deden.
This is like D and A but blue, like Pika Blue, but for D and A.
But yeah, you mentioned how it like takes a lot of the like. It's weird because it has a lot of the conventions that Pokemon has, but it just smears it on this canvas. Like we have Pokemon or Telefangs that like won't listen to you in battle and will run away, which we have if we don't have the proper gym badges. We have like personality types that could be like natures, which I think they might have been a little head on natures. Like natures came in Gen 3. I think they were.
I believe, yeah, Gen 3.
They might have been a
Oh
little
yeah.
ahead.
I think Pokemon stole some inspiration
That's
for Gold and Silver, like slightly. I don't know when they came out. Like I don't know if Gold and
I think
Silver
Gold and
went
Silver came
before.
out before.
I think that was
Okay.
2000 they came out, or 99,
Yeah,
2000.
like around there, pretty much.
Okay, never mind.
I'm not going to fact check because I've heard a famous podcaster once say that fact checking will ruin this podcast, quote unquote.
Ah, true.
It's true.
So
Anyway, we keep comparing this game to Pokemon, but I feel like the more apt comparisons, this is just like a Digimon game from a parallel dimension, really.
see,
Like
I've never
every
played a
mechanic in here
Digimon, but
feels like this is like a Digimon
yeah.
World 1 game.
Yeah,
It's
Pokemon
like
Silver came
different
out
enough
first.
from Pokemon where it's like its own thing and it doesn't really feel like it's aping Pokemon too hard outside of the battle UI.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
the
like the
battle guy
town's
is the
kind of
only
hard.
thing, but like the ATB, the personality traits, like just being fuck you, everyone
The
being like an
fangs
actual
following you was a
personality
huge
and not
deal to
just an
me.
animal. Like it
Right.
Hey,
almost
the
feels
Fang
like a
following you was
Digimon.
great. Or the Denjū, rather, not the Fang. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Denjū.
Eh,
Thank you.
fair, true. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get too much of a Digimon vibe other than like the design and kind of nature of it. Like, it's interesting how during the early 2000s we had all these ripoffs that like Monster Ranch or Digimon, apparently this game, but they all kind of like carved their own path. Like Digimon, no one really compares it to Pokemon anymore. When it originally came out, people were like, "Oh yeah, this game is a ripoff." But now Digimon has its own identity. It's been around for like almost 30 years or something. And even Monster Rancher, like it has its own gameplay loop and style and unique like traits to it where it's like 30 years later, 25 years later, whatever, they kind of have their own identity. But like it's interesting how this game just kind of like copied from all those and never
Mhm.
quite went anywhere. Because
It
there was
really
only
is
one
like
sequel,
someone is just
right?
imagining, like they were a fan of all these different properties, but loosely, like maybe they saw them in a magazine or something, and then they're like, I can make that.
Like
Like
you
that
could
horse monster thing. That thing, every time I saw it, I cracked the fuck up. Like, what is with its
I
legs? It's
love
got
that
gills.
thing.
Like, it's
It,
just so.
it's wearing stiletto. No, those aren't stilettos. Those are like wedges.
It was wild.
There were so many creatures where I would just see them pop
I
up, and
love
that
that
was like
horse
the
though.
highlight of the game because I would just laugh at the design, the art, and everything design wise in this. Like, I kudos to them. They followed a dream and they put it to paper, and it's really fun to look at.
Yeah, and I will say it beats out like Pokemon and Digimon in terms of being like a more traditional old school RPG. Like near the end of the game with those long dungeons, I was like, I'm in my old RPG groove. Like I
Right.
had my
right?
fast forward key. I had my like, I didn't use any save states, but I would save often just to like, have to retry a battle and feel out what I need. Because I didn't grind literally once. I didn't use any of the evolution items, and then I killed the boss in like 3 hits, and it was just because
Okay.
the game was so fucking broken. Like I'm telling you, Frostbite. I
Yeah.
mentioned this in the chat.
Yes.
No, it is.
Frostbite and
It's just
paralysis, like noisy. That what I think that was noisy that shuts off the antenna shit in that one
Yeah, the
village.
Diancie
Mm.
looking
I
Pokemon.
used
Or
him or
Denjū.
her for the longest time because that paralysis, it had speed and paralysis. Once you paralyze stuff, the battle's pretty much over. Like it was so broken and lopsided once you actually kind of like get a feel for it. And
And like even if the monster against you was strong against your type, it didn't matter because you could just chain
yeah,
paralyze them.
you could sleep.
yeah.
I had some crazy chains. Firefly was in there the night I was trying to beat it. Like I was like paralyzing it and then attacking with one guy, and once the paralysis would wear off, I'd make it flinch, and then like I would just loop it into this stun lock, and it was actually like I really did enjoy my experience with it near the end. But like I don't know, I enjoy most games I play. It's like I think it's a miracle we get anything ever at all. So I just kind of
Mhm.
always
Yeah.
find some joy in it.
I'm with you on that, but my experience seems to be the reverse of this, where I go into the boss fight, use my first stats move, it failed, and the boss gets 4 turns, and I just never got to play the game.
I
GG,
feel
shake
like
my hand.
status effects never missed, but I
They
know they
absolutely do
did.
No,
miss.
they did.
But
They
for
do.
me, I swear, like I would just put it
There
to
must be
sleep.
like some hidden stats or
There's
something. Like I
Something.
could
there's
never
I
figure it
saw
out.
there's no information about this game online. I don't even know what these moves do. I found out through grinding, and by grinding I mean I bought 50 revolvers and
I
juiced
didn't
into a
even know
thing
you
and
could do that.
walked outside, fought a battle, leveled up twice, went back inside, shoved 2 more revolvers in, walk out, fight,
Wait, so
etc.
do revolvers level you up, or what do the
It
items
depends.
do? Someone
So
explain this to me.
It totally
ATI, come
depends.
back. Remember those phone calls you get where the guy's like, "Hey, I heard
Yeah, I need a
fucking
You
game
give
Diantha
system.
Mhm.
likes this item."
Mhm.
That's
Right.
your clue to give to go to like one of the stores that has the augment evolution
Mhm.
and give them the item through that.
Okay.
And
once
then
you
there's
do
like
that, it gives
certain
them a
levels that they can evolve at too. But like if you give them a certain item, sometimes it makes their experience grow faster. Sometimes it evolve. I had to go on the wiki and
Yeah,
like
so
look at the evolution charts because I was like, I'm not experimenting with
I
all of this. There's too
yeah,
much.
so
I
the
tried
They're not
once.
specific about it either, though. Like, you don't really know to go to the DNA or the augment guide.
Yeah,
The
'cause it
first
looks
There's
thing
a
like
I
DNA and
did
augment
was
guy.
hand
Yeah,
it
there's
to
two.
them.
Oh, see, I tried to level them up once with the augment key, and he said, "No, I'm not interested," and I never looked at it again. I released
So-
fungus early in the game, and then I just kept with that. What was that narwhal shark thing? That thing. That
You
thing.
like
yeah,
all
carried-
that
so-
fungus?
I
So
like all fungus.
Augment's best comparison I can make to like modern mechanics is like gotcha games where you shove EXP items into a thing. All those phone calls you
Interesting.
get saying like, "Hey, this person likes this item. This person likes this item," is just hinting you to what EXP items are the best. But also, it like scales up with how much it gives per item as you level up more. So like at level like 30, you give them an item, it gives like 300 experience, and it caps at 900. So
Hmm.
you have to give them like one or two items, go outside, fight a battle, they level up, go back inside, augment again. DNA was just for big Denjū. If you just use the phone
Denjū.
card from your phone menu on them, you got like a BioLite, I think it was called, like varying levels, and then you could DNA evolve Denjū with that by going to the DNA guy. They look the fucking same, so it's like
Where's
you
the
go in the shop
DNA
and talk to
guy?
him.
I didn't see him at all.
Some areas have like two shops. Like Frisia has like 4 shops. One of them has the DNA guy, and he was talking. He
Oh.
goes, "I'm the DNA. You do DNA evolution at this counter." While
Mhm.
others say, "Oh, you do augment evolution at this counter."
That's
The shop system
crazy.
is ass. I hate the shop system.
I did. I
Yeah,
went in there once
is
and I
dog
never went
shit.
back.
I'm trying to bulk purchase items. It makes you grab them one at a time, go to the counter, set it down, buy it, go back to the counter, pick up another item. What the fuck is this?
And then
It's-
my
It's
tiny brain
immersive and I
self,
hate it.
I'm handing this Denju the phone and I'm spam giving him phones thinking that his experience is going up, and then I'm going to the menu and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, I just dropped like
Yeah, that happened to me too.
50K.
I
And
maxed
I'm
out my
like,
money.
One point.
I didn't use any money. I maxed that shit out.
there's
Yes.
no
It was
incentive.
one of the best mechanics in this game, I think, was when you run and destroy all the grass and you can
I
get
like
the
that.
coins.
That was fun.
That was very satisfying.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, the
Anyway.
overworld was good. Like no
Except
fast
like
travel. As far as I'm aware, did anyone get fast travel? Maybe I missed it. I don't think
No,
there
I think
is.
the most we
I
got is like
didn't.
shortcuts, I think.
Yeah, which I thought
You
was
might have needed to
I
give like a
walked
video
everywhere.
recorder to Fungus to get that or something.
That man's in
No, it
heaven
was-
right now. I gave him a revolver and put him in the woods.
There he
Oh
goes.
no.
You say good luck.
I really love
I
the imagery
gave
of you
someone
playing
a
this.
flamethrower and they had like a maniacal face or some shit is what it said.
I love the idea of giving one of these fucking scrimlows just a
Right.
rocket launcher and sending them off in the woods because they're not even like under your control.
Why did they
Here,
need
take this
any of
weapon of mass
that?
destruction.
There's
This game's
so
like
much-
this is where I'm like, this game's like Digimon. All these guys are like personalities. They're not animals. They're like actual sentient
okay,
beings.
I agree with
They
you with that.
Yeah, just had random machinery to fucking do war crimes with.
They for
I feel like
sure
I'm in-
had
I feel like I'm in
personality.
Digimon.
I didn't think of that. You're gonna give someone a weapon of mass destruction and then be like, I'll call you whenever I need you with hopes that they answer the phone.
Then he gets
Oh, I'm late.
distracted.
I think Ron got mad at me for not answering the phone at one point.
Oh, I stopped answering a long
Sorry.
time. Wait,
Yeah,
I got a
That's
question.
funny.
I have a really important question because I couldn't find information on it. The emulator you guys used, did your controller vibrate when you were getting phone calls?
No,
It
I
did
used
not
my
for me.
SNES controller.
Mine did, and I thought that was
No, but
crazy. Why?
I think it could
Uh.
because here's the thing with your emulator. So the vibration function I think goes over the same bus as like the link cable
The
stuff
light?
would. So since it's saying that light port, the emulator probably reads that as the vibration command and vibrates the
Okay,
controller.
because that was such a cool
wild.
feature. Like I went to sleep and left my game on just because I was like, whatever, I'm gonna take a nap, and all I hear is my controller going like, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that my
That
phone?
kind of thing is what elevates this game like conceptually to me
cool.
because you can tell the guy was like, I want to I think phones
Oh
are
my
really
god,
cool.
that is
You enter your name in the beginning with
Terrion.
T9. I thought that was a
Yeah,
cool touch.
it was fun going back to T9. Like you get your groove back and you start speed
Yeah.
T9ing. That was fun to go back to T9. Bring T9 back.
I wanted
Yeah, I'm
This
always a
that.
is
fan of
this is only
T9.
slightly related, but
Denjū.
this is probably similar to what's going on with your vibration thing.
The Mystery of Link's Awakening DX Rumble. Okay, I'll look into that. But yeah, I thought that was really cool, and because it did add an extra layer to the game that like wouldn't have been there otherwise, and I didn't know why it was there because it's not a Rumble cartridge. There's no reason for that to work, but like it was like my phone was vibrating every time I got a call. It was actually really cool. Good. Okay, good to know about that.
Did the game cart itself, when it was released in Japan, have Rumble?
No, I checked. I like Googled the game cartridge to see.
That's why I sent that video.
Yeah,
'cause
I
think
did
it's the
see.
same
I did
thing as
see
like
that
this thing.
antenna add-on, but I wasn't sure if like it had a dual, if the cart also rumbled at the same time or anything.
Yeah, no,
That would be
I
cool,
did the
but
homework on that. Yeah,
I mean, it's possible. Maybe
interesting.
there's coding for that. I didn't look at the disassembly entirely.
They must have thought like everyone would be walking around with these things, like antennas going off on their Game Boys, like calling each other with these numbers.
We're gonna make a network.
I mean, they made a bunch of like these kind of Digimon / Pokemon ripoff games. Like it's not just Telefang.
I didn't even think
There's
of
like even more to
Digimon.
look at this.
Yeah, there was even that Final Fantasy VII Turks spinoff for the cell phones, right? Didn't that heavily incorporate this kind of like cell phone type mechanic at the time? Like I
Something like
thought it
that,
was
yeah.
like it put the flip phones heavily into focus as a mechanic.
So, I mean, so did the
Marvel.
original
She was
game, right?
cute.
Technically,
Mm.
She was
I'm
very
just-
cute.
I mean, it did. So did
Yeah, VHS.
Advent Children. Advent
Yeah.
Children did. They had flip phones.
Yeah, no, there was a whole huge because I mean, phone culture is massive in Japan. It always has.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's worldwide massive, but out in the early 2000s, they were ahead of everyone in terms of like having it part of your personnel. They had the charms that
Yeah,
you
the
clear.
charms. Oh my god.
Like phones were big, so there was probably a ton of games in the early 2000s that were like mobile only on your shitty Nokia.
And you can just see the process of like, okay, well, let's just take Pokemon and take the most popular hardware that's in our country right now and just slap phones onto Pokemon or
Yeah.
whatever their thought process was. I think it was conceptually okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hung up on the vibration things. Now I'm reading that there was a February 2000 issue of the comic that's advertised through this game, Comic Bonbon, that had a prototype version of this antenna, but it connected to the cart instead of the link cable slot. And I'm wondering if that's where the vibration comes from. Maybe they meant for it to be a vibration cart, but you just had to
Could
plug
be.
the motor in.
That's interesting. But yeah,
That's pretty
overall, like it's not my favorite game. It's weird. It's not my favorite game, but I love these types of games. So like it ended up being a joyful experience because like I said, by the end of the game I was in my RPG zone. Like you had crazy SMTS dungeon, like
Right?
it was
Right.
a sprawling
Fucking
map.
hoes.
It was sprawling and it, like random encounters weren't that bad early in the game, but I do feel like someone cranked that number up a tiny bit as you like progress. So again, it comes with the territory. If you don't like random battles while you play an RPG, and nothing will ever be as bad as Legacy or not Legacy Goku, Legend of the Super Saiyan on Super Nintendo, where like you literally move one frame to the left, you don't even fucking move a space, and you go back into another battle after one. Like, so it wasn't that bad in terms of random encounters or anything. There was like nothing truly offensive, but there was nothing truly like outstanding or great. So it just kind of became this weird little like game that I enjoyed just through genre osmosis because I love this genre in general.
Yeah, it was just like okay. I mean, I like it. It was good, but it wasn't like amazing in any way except for like overworld graphics. I guess were pretty cool. Like the character was animated nice. Everyone having a walk behind spray at this point was
Yeah, it was really
crazy
pretty.
work
There was
when
a
there's
lot
like
of good
150
unique
of these guys.
sprites.
It made Pokemon, like, I questioned, why did it take so long? Like, we didn't get a Pokemon trailing us until the
The Heart
Gold and
Gold.
Silver remake.
Yeah, Heart Gold.
And I'm like, damn, the technology for it
Well,
was
no,
technically
technically,
on Game Boy.
at Pokemon Yellow, you had Pikachu fall on you for
Oh
Game Boy.
fuck, I forgot
It
about
is one.
Yellow.
It's
I'm
one.
sorry.
It's one sprite as opposed to like a bunch more sprites that they
All the
I'm
did.
gonna
So
Pokemon,
I'm
yeah.
gonna guess maybe area sizes and spell up or not spell, but like move effects probably take up more in Pokemon's ROM than Telefang. When the first move I see is just like two little puffs with like 2 frames of animation, I'm like, this is not your best foot forward.
Oh
Mhm.
my god.
And some of
just-
those. What was that, Lyle?
I just realized that none of the Pokemon games were in an actual Game Boy Color cartridge. They were in Game Boy cartridges. So that's probably why
Well, Gold
Telefang
and
is a
Silver
Game
was.
Boy Color game.
Was it Gold? Gold and Silver was a Game Boy Color.
I thought
Well,
No,
Crystal
it
it
was
was.
original
had
Game
the
Boy.
yeah, you could play it on OG Game Boy even though it had Game Boy Color elements.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it
no,
was
I mean that
wild.
was a big library. Yeah. So this wasn't a black cartridge Game Boy Color game.
No,
Telefang, you couldn't play it
I
on
think it
a
had the
Game Boy.
clear. I think it had the clear cartridge for Game Boy Color only.
Interesting.
So that's probably why.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think Crystal was color only, but maybe Gold and Silver weren't.
Fuck, I forgot about Crystal. So yeah, Crystal was, but yeah, Gold and Silver was not. I'm forgetting these side games. My
there's a
bad.
lot
I
of
had to
them.
Google it. It's fine.
Also, I want to say Dragon Quest Monsters. I forgot to throw that in the
Oh, yeah,
loop
true.
of games that it was trying to ape, because this does kind of remind me of Dragon Warrior Monsters. You
wow.
get sucked into the tree. You're kind of again, it's not exactly the same, but it, like ATI said, it's like they looked at all these games at a glance and we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then someone drew a fucking blob man and weird
With
like
the background
some
in
of
the
these
cave.
designs. I'm not a good artist. I can't really draw, but I swear to God, some of these things I could have drawn. Like they were so fucking scrimbo. It is crazy that
It really just feels like you were all there at the era when Pokemon knockoffs were huge. It feels just like a collection of these like
it's a greatest
fan
hits.
drawn OC do not steal Pokemon.
It's like deviant art for fucking monster
I
collectors.
deadass would have drawn this thing as a fucking 10-year-old
Just
child.
slap a drill on it. And like I
I
can
would
see
go
the vision with like
Armadillo.
But what is
I can
this shit? What the
Yeah.
fuck is that?
So,
it's a mouse bomb thing. Who
The
knows?
vagina
With
mouth.
some legs that spams jump and high kick.
Yeah, it was a while that I'm glad that I got to experience this game, because
the
again,
the dungeon reminded me a little of Link to the Past.
yeah, they had some kind of, not many like puzzles or anything, but like the design layout definitely could be
Yeah.
looked at as something familiar from Zelda to a
Easy
degree.
dog.
Yeah,
What
just
did
the
you guys think
overworld
about
travel itself.
the bosses?
Did
Uh,
anyone get the wheelchair?
the wheelchair.
What?
No. I thought the bosses were pretty good. Again, I killed everything in like 3 hits. Literally, like, I don't know. The battle system was so weird and broken, but I did like
The
that
bats
it.
go.
I like the names
Where
of the
did she
characters.
go?
I don't know if we ever find out.
I
They're
was
all
looking at
kind-
the wiki, and the guy who runs the curry operation cannot use Denjū, so he uses Tabasco to fight for him. That's part of the
crazy.
manga, apparently.
Oh wow.
I beat
It's
the
also-
game, but there's so much lore I missed out on.
It's a whole world you gotta immerse
Also,
yourself.
the Kaku is the guy who really just has a passion for ramen, and that's it. That's all he wants to do.
Oh my
Doesn't give a
god! So
shit about anything else.
that first evil guy you encounter, who's like, "Yo, Denjū, listen to my plan right now. I'm gonna get the most fire curry for you. Just give me all of your
Yeah.
water." They're like, "I don't know what curry is, but you sound excited." So like, they're
Right.
these innocent little
I mean-
Borbos that have no idea about the world. They're just like existing. They're like, "Hey, give me a hammer. Hey, give me a machine gun," but they don't know what
Dude.
curry is.
To be fair, about
And
halfway
perhaps-
into the game,
love
you
that
can
thing.
find that guy in like the lower right corner of a town, and he's like, "Here, try my ramen." And you're like, "Damn, this shit is fire." You're right.
Yeah, maybe it was onto
Maybe you're
something.
okay
Put some
after
water.
maybe you're okay after all, Kakuza.
That thing's my
Well, the
favorite.
lesson is next time he wants to forcibly politicize
horse
his
carried
curry,
me.
maybe let people try it first. Just give out some samples. I don't know, man.
Yeah, right.
So
Introduce it.
everyone loves
Get a
curry.
What the fuck is this thing? Hold on.
the biggest thing for me that was like kind of, I guess, shocking because everything. Yeah, that thing is a fucking Rick and Morty character. That thing is
Belly
Bean
that,
thing.
I'm Mr. Bean. Like it's literally just fucking a Rick and Morty thing. Like I hated it, and he even talks like one. I forgot what he says, but he's like, I can't remember his lines, but I was like, this is a fucking Mr. Meeseeks character thing. Like it was so scrimbo. So scrimbo. I did name everyone after some of the Denjū, but they were like first gen Denjū. And by the end, did anyone fill up their Denjū box? Like, is there a limit? I had like 10 pages that I had to sift through.
So
I had 65 of them.
supposedly there is a limit, and as you upgrade your phone, you up that limit more. But I have no idea what the fuck it is. I never hit it either.
Oh,
Nobody online knows what it is. There's just a limit, quote unquote. It's much like how the moves exist and no one knows what they do.
Like I was reading the mechanics and it was saying like don't forget to release some of your phone numbers from time to time because you got to make room for the new numbers that never really popped up.
That never seemed to be an issue, which is funny.
Is the structure of phone numbers in this game how phone numbers are in Japan, or is this?
I hope not.
I had no idea what I was looking at half
It's
the
some
time. There were
friend code
asterisks,
shit.
dashes, and
So this is why Nintendo made friend codes.
It's yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is, and we're just not aware of the culture behind weird numbers like that, or maybe it's just the Denjū world, the Telefang world. It's hard to say. I found something interesting. Do we know, without looking it up, don't look it up, do we know who did the music?
no, but immediately it sounded
But it goes
familiar
good.
and
It goes
it was
hard.
really good.
So, Kinuyo, I'm butchering this. Kinuyo Yamashita. She did Castlevania 1. She did Snatcher. She did Rocky and Rocky. She did the arrangements for Mega Man Wily Wars, Mega Man X3. She's Buffy the Vampire Slayer for some reason. She's actually got, some chops to her. And then I did more research on her. She moved to New Jersey and she's like 40 minutes away from me. I'm like,
Wow.
the fucking woman who did Castlevania is like 40 minutes from
You
me.
got to bring your Game Boy Color out and start dialing numbers.
Dude, imagine
right?
what a deep
Find her.
cut that would be for her. She would be screaming, I feel like, if you pulled out fucking Telefang around
She'd
her.
probably be like, what the fuck is that thing? Probably, I don't even remember doing that. Did I do that? Like,
But,
I was
The
a credits
Rocky and
show. I must
Rocky
have done
thing
it.
is interesting because this was developed by Natsumi and published by SmileSoft, which was a company that seems like it was specifically for Telefang and some other small things
they
afterwards.
put all their money on this. They're like, look,
Yeah,
this has
really
to work
thought that
out, guys.
This was like their Game Freak project. But SMILE stood for steady, moral, inventive, lucky effort. And I think this game has some of those elements.
Yeah, the naming scheme kind of sums up their design scheme. Just throw a bunch of shit
Yeah.
together and be like, it kind of works. Like, it doesn't
And they
not
wanted
work.
some luck elements in there. They wanted it to be inventive.
Oh.
There's moral elements that you got to stop the curry guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very curious because, like, I'm reading now and I see the manga series very tied closely to the game. When they got a mangaka to design the characters for the game, and make a series for Comic Bon.
Who
the same
designed these characters? I hope that guy is not working in the industry ever again.
Good news, I don't think he is. It's Takaki Saiko and also Kino Kozui.
This is like the blind guy who did the fucking basement theme for Director's Cut Resident Evil, or the deaf guy, or whatever weird.
Didn't it come out
I
that
thought
that
that was
guy
just a
wasn't
sound font
actually
thing.
deaf?
I
Yeah,
thought it was
he
just a
used like
sound font issue.
he used a shitty sound font, and like he admitted that he wasn't deaf like 20 years later.
Yeah,
I
like,
thought it was
someone
the
just
really
opposite.
embarrassed.
Yeah, someone just applied another sound font to it and it actually worked fine. It was just someone just went, here, let's play the shitty fucking horn one on this instead.
Oh, also unrelated with Kinoyo Yamashita, in one of the games, she was credited with Sato Terashima under the pseudonym James Banana for her work on the Nintendo Entertainment version of the Castlevania, and that pseudonym is a pun on James Bernard, the composer for Dracula. So
Oh, that rules. Yeah, because
she's pretty
everyone in
cool.
Castlevania has their
Yep.
horror pseudonyms.
Yep. So I thought that was cool.
Oh,
I learned a lot about
I
her.
didn't know that.
She's got a new fan, even though I've always been. X3 is one of my favorite soundtracks. That soundtrack goes so hard. It's so
It does.
good.
It's
Snatcher.
part of the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out in Montauk, New Jersey, and make sure I have her sign my copy.
Oh, I
But
just thought of something. When you mentioned Dragon Warrior monsters, I ran into a funny Dragon Warriors monster mechanic in this. So I grinded my spider guys up to like level 50 to see if their attack would do more damage to the boss I was on. It didn't. It caps at 16 damage on advantage.
interesting, huh?
So there's like the Dragon Quest style moves have a minimum maximum damage, and that's it. No leveling gets around it.
Frostbite,
Oh.
Frostburn,
Yeah, I mean,
OP.
aside from Frostbite,
So
which I was
OP.
abusing the shit out of.
Same.
Yeah, it
When
was
the
fun
game didn't
breaking the
say,
game.
I'm here, and then give the boss 4 turns like it's
What was
Final
his
Fantasy
name?
3.
Tempest. Shout outs to Tempest. I had like 2 on the same team. Yep, Tempest.
Was it that Zoids looking thing, like mech?
No, it's a water tornado looking thing.
Oh, I use that a little bit. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
I
kind
got
of funny,
2 of
like
them.
it's kind of funny that
Yeah.
everything's like natural evolutions are just normal Pokemon, and then just machine ones, cultivated or whatever, attack ones, and they just look like
All
Digimon
the
more and more.
Pokedex entries are madness too. This tornado guy's thing is something like, oh, don't you know that he loves blenders? I guess they're kind of the same. They do the same. It's like
I
total
read a
madness
few
when
of
you go through
those.
some of
Yeah,
these entries.
it was pretty fun. It's quirky. One thing I'll say about this game is it has
Kingpin,
personality.
where he at?
Mhm.
Clear Needle.
I would like to read just one more Pokédex entry for this crab monster, this little guy. Let's see if this matches up to what you would think looking at him. Even though the Denjū Bubaria won't evolve when you put a bazooka on it, it still seems to want one. Such a cool, scary thing to want. What's it even thinking? ...
We got to get
What the
that scary image and scared.
It's just bizarre. It makes you think. It makes you stink. It's doesn't quite work, but
There's a
it
lot of
is
stink.
unique.
There's a lot
Meanwhile,
of stink.
there's ones like this one, and all it says is
That's
it
my
uses hard
boy.
scales to guard itself and attacks with the machine gun on its arm.
What is that?
Hey,
War
isn't that like
Greymon?
Mega Gunmon or something?
Right?
This
Is that
is,
War
I love
Greymon?
him, dude.
This is Fung Boost. This is
Oh,
I knew that was my boy.
fungus.
last
That's
evolution
what
of
you're missing out
fungus.
on.
Damn.
So if you go 2 natural evolutions and then do a cultivated one, you get Fung Boost.
That's so
which is
much
this
work
guy.
for this game when you literally
There's
can
like
kill the boss.
there's
in
like
both-
3 or
yeah,
4
it is.
evolution
That's the
trees for
thing.
him too.
Wow, there's multiple evolutions. Okay, I give it credit. Again, I skipped out on all of it. It seemed too obtuse.
Yeah,
And
I
the
just
wild thing
went
is
to
that-
a little bit.
Okay,
The
that's
wild
enough
thing
for
is you
me.
cannot get another one of these aside from trading. This is your starter. You cannot get another one of these in game without just trading someone.
Damn, I kept fungus till like mid game. I was like, this guy sucks. I'm fucking using the narwhal shark.
No. Okay, I will say when I noticed the bosses were like 10 levels or 13 levels higher than me, I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I haven't ran from any fights. My mons are like 18, 19, and I'm like, or Denjū. And I'm like, what's going on? So
Yeah,
that's when I started to Google, and that's how I found out about all the augment and DNA stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when this game turns into an RPG proper. It's like, time to party build.
Yeah,
And then I saw
maybe
this.
sort of.
Except, as much as this game can do, really. I mean,
yeah,
there's not much to work with here.
It did have an
Mm-mm.
interesting. I will give it credit for the way it kind of like would level, like Lemon said. You'll be breezing through, and then you'll get to like one tile over into the next area, and then like it doesn't matter what you did; they're 10 levels higher. But at the same time, they seem to always join you. So anytime I got into an area, I would just recruit like 3 or 4 Denjū, and then like swap out whatever I was using, other than Noisy carried me for a while, and would go from
You played
there.
a different game.
I feel like I played a different game. Like
It sounds fun.
it was
Instead of like
interesting.
actually giving a shit about like watching the mons evolve, you were just like, I'll just catch them while I'm going.
Yeah.
So I
I
mean,
was
and
kind
you
of the same.
could.
Like I kind of
Did
give
that
this
for
the
most of the game.
Judero treatment, where it's like you're in it for the vibes, and it doesn't really have that many roadblocks, and things just kind of worked when I threw them at it. You could
Yeah.
just
I
like
just
use status
used,
effects and just roll through.
yeah, I
I
used
would
fungus and had everyone support him. Is how I played.
he needs support. Yeah, like obviously I would wipe here and there because I would just pick the wrong typing, but then I'd like reload the game and be like, all right, let me use that weird Sphinx thing that I grabbed or the vagina monster, and like it works out.
It really just felt like whatever flavor you want, go for it. And like if you get a weakness bonus, that's great. You got that on top of your favorite little weirdo.
Yeah, right. Like I said, I was stun locking enemies using like flinch into paralysis into buff into attack. Like I don't know, it was a fun but it took like 80% of the game to get to that point. Like the first I don't know, 50-60% of the game is like you can literally mash A and kind of like get through it. RNG bearing, RNG if it graces you or not. But then there was a certain point where I had to be like, all right, I actually have to like really think about this, and it all kind of came together. And I do love that old school RPG experience. That's why it's so weird. Like I don't love this game, but I love old school RPG experiences. So it's just kind of like, it's like the Domino's of like pizza, where it's just like, yeah, I love pizza and I'll eat Domino's, and I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a different flavor.
Funny, right?
It was a little chewy or
Right?
something. One of the ingredients wasn't quite right. It's like
A
they give
lot
you
of the ingredients
pizza,
were.
but where the hell's the cheese? Or something like that. I don't know.
The
There's
cheese
some
were
metaphor in
burned.
there to work out. I didn't work on it.
I got you. We'll workshop it.
I mean, at the time we had like what, Pokemon and Monster Rancher and maybe Digimon
Dragon Warrior Monsters.
and
Can't
Dragon
leave it
Warrior
out.
Monsters.
Gotta rep Dragon
That's
Quest.
true.
The GOAT.
I was such a snob.
Dragon
I
Warrior
only
Monsters,
played
Pokemon. That's all I had like really work off of. I don't know if Digimon had a game at this point.
Ooh, probably not.
I think
Digimon
it had the
World.
anime. That was it. Huh? Anime came first, right?
Yeah,
I don't know, the Monster Rancher. I guess it did.
And then you had the little Digimon like square things that you'd carry around on your keychain. Basically a VMU. Those things stunk.
I love those. The D reader or whatever.
Yeah,
I want one. I was just thinking of buying one. Funny enough. Like
I mean, Digimon's just supposed to be boy Tamagotchi, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
it would appeal to us. Also,
That
to
is
Len's
true.
credit, Fungus actually, his last evolution has some of the best base status total in the game. It's like top 8.
I love how it's called Funglord. What a stupid name.
Funglord's actually the GOAT.
I
so
giggled
funny.
so much
I
at these
picked
fucking
Fung Boost
things.
because it had color. I was like,
Yeah,
you
that is
finally
weird.
have color.
So I have a
colored
confession.
Denjū. What's up?
I didn't actually finish the game. I got to like, I don't know. It must have been halfway. Then I watched a lot of your stream for the rest of it to catch up, and like, so I saw to the end. But I felt like the mechanics started to wear on me a little.
Oh no, it did.
Yeah, it did.
There's not a lot of depth.
So kudos to you guys for sticking through to the very end. I cheated and just watched.
I did. I'm at the halfway point right now.
No, I didn't finish the game. I couldn't get past Wanda.
Oh yeah, Wanda roadblocked you. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's not as easy as just mashing A.
It's like
Who's
you can
Wanda?
luck into
Who's Wanda?
parts of
Actually,
it.
no, who is Wanda? Oh, I remember her. Yeah, she beat me, and I was like the first time I sat down. I went, okay, let me actually build a team here and not.
She was the first one to
snowball
challenge
the game
for sure. Yeah, no,
like,
there's no shame in not.
Things at 20.
Like
there was a point. Wait, you first.
No, go on.
Oh, there was a point where while you were playing the game, like it was super comfortable, and then it was like they put you in a new area and you didn't have any like new phone numbers to call, and then your partners are taking 2 to 3 turns to come. You're like, holy shit. And then you're just getting one shot in certain areas.
Yeah,
So there was a difficulty spike that was
that,
so rage inducing,
that
but
was
it
the
got
like
better.
that was the little bit of fun depth this game. I was like, do I take someone who's normally further away from this area and make them my main partner for utility, and if they have a disadvantaged type, or do I just pick someone who's a solid tank so they can wall while waiting for the other Denjū to get lost and then take 10 turns to get here?
Right.
I thought that
I
was a really good
cried.
realization of mechanics, and
Yeah, it was really
between
good.
that and the service bars showing how many Denjū you can summon, I thought that was creative. Just
Is that how that worked?
Oh,
Oh, shit, I
yeah,
never
the
picked
I
more
up
was
on
bars
Yeah,
you
that.
had, the more you
they
could summon.
explained that to you. That's like one of the few things I picked up on.
I totally missed that one, apparently.
I
I
thought
missed
that was
that in
really
the mire
cool.
of type advantages and shit. That
I
one fell off.
weirdly was doing a 3-mon fight, and then it was like you can summon one, and I'm like, wait, why can I only summon one? I just summoned two, and then it didn't matter because I still won the fight, but I was wondering like what the
I
fuck
thought that was
happened.
just did a funny FF13 to me and just made random fights one partner or no partners. I thought it was just a funny developer
Yo,
thing, like, here,
not
curveball
holding
catch.
lightning.
I will say shout outs to the dude on Game FAQs on the, again, just like Survival Kids, the last dungeon, the game was just wearing on me. It was late. I had work, but I wanted to stay up. So I did look at the guide, but even deciphering that fucking map from on the Game FAQs fucking guide is crazy. Like those things are like I said earlier, they are sprawling. I felt like I was right at home in that final dungeon where it was just like you go into stairs 1 and you pop out on stairs 2 and then there's this dead end here and stairs 13 takes you here, and I was just like that alone was work to decipher where
Was
you were and what to
was
do.
Right.
was the
It
last
was,
dungeon Byron Ruins, or was it a different one? Bryan Ruins?
I kept calling it Byron also. I think it's Brian. Brian?
I know I used that map. There's a map right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the first impressions I had of this game, I
Yeah, I
peeked
used this
into your
map.
stream for 5 minutes, and I saw the map on the overworld, and I was like, okay, this game is a mapper. Like everything on top of this, it's like you navigating maps. That's what it wants you to do as a player, and then like the battles are just kind of like they're there because they have to be, and they have to fill up time and whatever. But the core of it, I felt, was like working your way through a maze for most of the game.
It got very labyrinthy. Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
if
I
you
joke,
just
but this is
look,
just what the Talipa antenna tree floor 2 was, or floor 3, whichever one it was.
I give it credit for being like a unique, weird kind of like curve. You know, you go into the
Mhm.
center. Like I don't know. Again, it was
I
fun.
I poke fun, and just because I did enjoy this, and I think it is fun just to see this microcosm of old NES dungeon design.
Mhm. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
right
was.
on the. It's
on the
like it
Game Boy
carried
Color
over,
too.
and seeing how the Game Boy Color generation can still put that type of design to use is interesting to see.
Yeah, because again, we're going back to Game Boy Color. Uh, there are some decent RPGs on Game Boy Color, but like none ever felt like big because of just like I guess you're so confined to whatever like the cartridge memory or whatever. But this actually did give me like a big feeling with those last two dungeons where I was just like, okay, like you're kind of impressing me with what you're doing right now because 90% of the game kind of wasn't like this. And then again, it's survival kids, sort of like, you know, you have that dungeon at the end where it kind of makes you do some Zelda stuff and, you know, have fun here and there. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for RPG stuff like this. So this is also a very zero coded game. Like no one else could have picked like a better game of this type.
I don't know,
The
just
Than
because
amount
of
of
Zero.
that.
mechanics and stuff going on is very Zero. I feel like Zero, you were very into like the decoding and decrypting of games and like what's going on with the numbers, what's going on in here. So,
And the
it,
Scrimbo
Well,
spirit, you're always
yeah.
repping it.
I was, but honestly, I just picked this because I was like, I just wanted to try some Pokemon clone that was maybe glossed over, and this was the one example that shined out of everything. I was looking for like Zelda clones, Pokemon clones.
It fits
Fucking
both. Like, you
every
can
time
tell that
Yeah.
it's imping Link's Awakening because
There's a
that's just the
lot of
style
Link's
at the time.
Awakening.
I was not
There's
expecting this game to be like Digimon rolled on crack, and me like not even having information on moves or anything. I was like, oh, shit, I'm on my own here.
Speaking of Link's Awakening, that's crazy how that
Miss
game.
Wanda, Miss Tilly.
It's
Miss
crazy how Link's
Toad.
Awakening defined like an entire system. Like so many Game Boy games are literally just Link's Awakening.
Mm.
Like it's understated just how influential like that game really is. Like everyone loves it, everyone thinks it's great, everyone, but like when you really look back on so many of those games on the Game Boy or Game Boy Color, it's just like, damn, Link's Awakening did that like 93.
One of
Like,
the most fun things I do with games is kind of like tracing them and seeing which Nintendo game is this getting its roots from? Because if you look at most games, most of their origins come from the skeleton of Nintendo games. Like it's either
yeah.
jumping, or you get your adventure with Zelda, or you get the whole Metroidvania
I mean,
genre.
Fire
or-
Emblem helped pave the way for
yeah,
like
that's
strategy
SRPGs.
RPG. Like you
There's
got
so
Shining
much where
Force aping it.
they give
This
you the
was a
building
Fire Emblem
blocks.
game.
No, all right, yeah, we'll
I
keep.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about
Oh,
that.
here we go.
And Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, here we go. Saints posted something here.
Should
Should one of us read this? Or is he going to
Uh,
put it on the screen during the podcast?
I'm not reading this.
I'm not reading. Doesn't improve on the first gaze. Dungeon List of a Slog isn't more balanced. I believe it's actually more. I think Telefang 2 is probably the better experience. I don't know about that.
Is there a translation of 2, by the way?
I believe there is, but I gotta go
really?
check.
That's interesting. I figured it was kind of like in the works, but not quite there yet.
That second sentence, though.
Oh, it is done.
So true.
Telefang 2?
I thought about playing the second Telefang as well.
I do wonder how
If
much
you
actually
do, I
differs.
would
I
love
feel
to
like it's
hear what
kind
you
of
think.
I feel like it's a remake of the first game. I don't know if it's really a sequel.
Oh,
I'm kind of
God.
curious about that actually.
They're like, let's do it
You just can't
better.
get enough.
They're like, it
I
works
don't
for
know,
Pokemon.
that would be saying I'm looking at Gold and Silver and going, oh, it's just a remake of Red. For all I know, there's a bunch of different shit.
Well, GBA does have power and speed versions again, so that much is the same. I can't tell who these Brimblows are on the
Yeah.
cover. I don't know if that's our boy Fungus.
Oh, there's also another thing. Firefly mentioned it. The original town Troncho is trunk in Spanish. Is that
Yep.
correct,
Oh.
Firefly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder what other word play on words, because I mean, like, the whole game
Oh.
has tree theme to it.
There's so much
Iris,
etymology in
there's
here. If you look at the
flowers.
monster names, there's so many based off of flowers and stuff that you would
Yeah.
never guess.
Oh, they're the kukurumin. There's a plant called ginger kukurumin. I'm butchering it, but it's a really cool hummingbird plant, and there was a monster just named after it, and I thought that was really cool because it's like not the most popular type of plant, but here we are with the monster Scrimbo named after
Yeah, just
it.
like very specific pockets of creativity in this game all over the place.
It's a Gymnos. It's supposed to
You
be a
know
Gymnos
something?
burn.
Looking at Telefang 2, you can tell us when like Pokemon really started taking off because they went, oh shit, we need a Pikachu. And they just had that armadillo fucker on the cover, Rex, apparently.
Oh,
That's their
what that
Pikachu.
is.
Because
Dil-
Telefang 2 starters are not Fungus and whatever was in Power version. It's just Rex in both now.
Dylan's Wild Western.
Shout out to like the 10 people who like that game. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I wish I could be you and actually have time for that game.
Yeah, this is the plant. There's little like pockets that
Love that thing.
hummingbirds love to drink out of the cups, and it's just a really cool. I think turmeric comes derived from it, or a variety. I don't know. Again, like ATI said, there's a lot of cool naming, etymology, and fun stuff. So the translators did really good. Do we know their names? I can't remember it from the credits, but like shout outs to them for following through. And again, anyone that does fan translations is doing God's work in my mind, because these are just amazing games.
We can probably find it actually. Hold on one second.
Because like we would never be able to experience these things without their hard work. It's all labors of love. And honestly, when I play fan translated like Super Nintendo or PS1 or Game Boy games, it feels nothing brings me back more to like feeling like a child than that. I don't know. It's like almost like a past, like an alternate me was playing that game, and I never got to play it in this world. And like here I am playing Energy Breaker or Survival Kids, or I don't know. I think it's always something really special to get a game we missed out on as kids and playing it now.
Yeah, I'm really glad this got a second lease on life so recently, because originally it was like only Pokemon Diamond and Jade version were available, and they were very shoddy translations full of bugs and game crashes.
Yeah, and
Whereas
something
now we
like
can
this
actually
is
enjoy
not
a
easy, where so much
polished
of it is like
product.
wordplay or
Yeah, the wordplay is crazy, and they did a really good job with all of that. There's a lot of care.
I don't know the credits. I can't find it. Where's the credits?
ROM hacking, Telefang. Do.
This calls itself Telefang Village. Give me a list of names.
Yeah, I was gonna take screenshots for the like after I beat it just to see. I always like to see the names because they usually work on other stuff, and it's fun to see. But regardless, it was a fun game. You know, I didn't love it, but again, I love the genre. There's that asterisk to it. So yeah, I powered through it. A little bit of fast forward, but yeah. How did everyone else feel in general as a whole?
I feel
I
pretty much the
liked
same
it a
way you
little
do.
bit. Yeah, I liked it a little bit more. For me, it reminded me of like nostalgia elements. That mansion part with the teleporting floors reminded me of Sabrina's gym. So I thought that was kind of cute. I feel like the game had moments where it just reminded me of a game that I was thinking about or forgot about and was like, oh shit, I could play that, or this feels like that. So that was a vibe.
if I
Um,
was a kid, I would have gone crazy on this, and just like the idea of like there's so much depth to all these Denjū, and like there's not really, but like as a kid, you'd probably think so because they're all calling you and saying different things, and
I
if you
tried to
go into
catch
it
them
blind, it would be
all.
pretty cool.
I really did. I tried to get all of their numbers in my phone.
Yeah, I
But
wanted to too. That's how I found out Fungus was a one-time.
when I saw someone use two of the same like Denju, like the snail for an example, the snail can flinch you or whatever. Someone used two of them on me and like it was so fucking annoying. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get two of the same ones that are broken. So I had two level 50 horses at one point. Um
That sounds
I
so
had
ridiculous.
it do but it helped me cheese a boss that, like, resisted fungus.
God,
Um,
2 sounds like such a better game. Sorry, keep going.
uh, yeah, it was interesting, like, so I eventually adopted that strat towards the later half of the game. I had 2, Tempests, which is the whirlpool, water type or whatever, aquatic type. I just got 2 of those for put Frostbite on 2 different ones. Whoever Frostbite fell off first, I would save their attack for and just one shot the other one. If you did no damage, I saved you for last type thing. Uh, Not right now. My roommate just asked me if I wanted to play Bowser's Fury. Um, um, Yeah, it was I enjoyed it. I will say I had another part that I kinda enjoyed, but, I feel like it was before the forest. Like, I was here for Pepper Mountain, but then I got lost in Pepper Mountain. I kept going up and down the same side for about 3 hours before I
3 hours.
realized. Yeah, it's on stream. And then before I realized that you could go out and then make a left, there was like another cave entrance on another screen that took you to it was to get to the demon Denjū or whatever, the cursed one. I hated that so much because my tiny brain would have never thought to walk like the next screen over to find the other entrance of the mountain. They did teach you that like at the base of the mountain, but my tiny brain just kept like being like, "Oh, there's a door right there. Let's just walk in there and then fall down and then do this again and over." But
Yeah. By then the game starts kind of wearing you down, especially for how fast we all
yeah, I
kind of
almost
pushed
quit
through it.
there.
We all kind of did,
That's true.
rush through it as much as we possibly could. So things kind of start wearing on you eventually. If you had some time to let it simmer, I'm sure, you would have been fine. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you, Zero, for recommending this game.
You're welcome. I do
I would have
feel
never
like
even known about this if it wasn't for this little club. So that was a nice little venture. I really
That's
enjoyed
true.
just
I-
seeing everything. The sounds were amazing. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I'm going to be listening to more of that.
Yeah, that final dungeon track, or like the last two, fire. She still got it, even though if this was like 25 years ago.
I like
I
the final
actually-
boss.
New to
theme,
us, damn
too.
it.
I fuck with this overall theme. This is
Yeah,
good
it was
background
fun
music.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
cute.
yeah, overall this game's really fun. This would definitely be like one of my Scrimblow games if I were a kid. I'm glad to see Japan has like a cult classic status for this game. Like I see a lot of people still streaming it to this day.
It's just so
Grant-
different. It's different enough where it's like you could play Pokemon, but it's not the same experience. Where a lot of Pokemon clones are just like, okay, you have your PP, you have the same
Yeah,
evolution types,
exactly.
like they copied it exactly. This is different enough to give it its own value.
I'm very glad this didn't turn out to be a very mediocre Pokemon clone, one for one. And
Yeah.
actually had something unique going on. That's my
As
fear.
soon as we
recommending
started
this game.
seeing like tag
'Cause I had
teams
no
coming into
idea.
fights, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I had no idea how this game played, by the way. I just remembered its name vaguely from like 10 years ago. Saw it had a translation attached in the last year and went, oh, that seems like good. I'll try this. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be shit. Who knows? But yeah, I'm
My
very
friends were
pleasantly
like-
surprised. I kind of want to play the second one now.
I kind of do too. I don't know what we have planned for the next video game book club. But I was
It's not
thinking-
Telefang 2, I'll tell you that
Also,
much.
yeah, no, it's not. Also, all of you got further than me. I was just like getting ready to start Pepper Mountain.
But yeah, that's Telefang. Again, not my favorite game, not the worst game.
I'm glad we experienced it though.
Yeah, it was a fun experience because
It was.
it exists in the time that it came out. It has very early 2000s energy.
It's such
I'll
a
say
time
that.
capsule in every way.
It's something I'll probably
I
point
mean,
at
you
more
dial your
in
name
my
in
off time.
T9.
What
Right?
more could you want?
You could program your own ringtones. There's like 7 different like note lengths for the ringtone.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was called Melody. It's like D shot as a melody. I thought that was cool. Firefly pointed that out. Nice little play on words with all the shit that going on. But
Also, I don't know if any of you saw this, but if you hit select in the pause menu, you could just dial a number for free.
yeah, I
And
saw
if
that.
if you were a privileged
I used
child in
it.
Japan in the 90s, you could have magazines that told you what to dial in and it would give you extra Denjū.
Yeah, and
They
there were
sucked.
magazine only Denjūs too.
That's crazy. See,
sucked.
all right. See, I respect this game. It tried to do something. It tried to.
Yeah, it tried to be like a
It
multimedia
really wanted to do
experience.
something.
And it's not easy in the early 2000s to be a multi. Like they saw the vision of the cell phone and they were like,
Mhm.
"This can be like Mega Man Battle Network stuff."
If they got people to buy in, it would have been huge. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
they did buy in Japan for a
I
little
mean,
bit. They got
I think at
sequels.
least 1 did well, 'cause 2 got, like, 2 came out, and 2 looks much better than 1 does.
But like, imagine a world where Telefang like blows up and it's just on every smartphone. Pokemon doesn't exist. Not
R
A
slash
billion
Thumpus
Smartphones
is
just don't
actually
come out.
R slash
Everyone
Thumpus
just
is
keeps
actually
using
R slash
flip
Gumi.
what was that?
Oh,
ATI?
that'd be cute.
Smartphones just never come out. Everyone just keeps using flip phones and T9.
I mean, it's probably just like Battle Network, and it just eventually turns to a smartphone anyway.
Right. But yeah,
I feel
I
like
get
that'd be a cool universe.
that is Telefang, and yeah, thank you, Zero. I guess we can start thinking about what we do for next week.